Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back. This is a sample video of our latest podcast episode number 123, which is a potluck podcast, in which we discuss a variety of topics, including
the fallout following the release of the new documentary film Seaspiracy from both industry and vegans.
We talk about a great new viral video, which is an animated film about animal testing called Save Ralph, featuring the voices of celebrities Taika Waititi, Ricky Gervais, Zac Efron, and more.
We also respond to a few questions that we've been sent recently by our listeners, and we share an interesting story about a recent interaction we had with a non-vegan friend.
We hope you enjoyed this short sample, and if you'd like to listen to the full episode, you can join us on Patreon, which is linked in the description below this video.
Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right, so the next thing we want to respond to, the headline really got me. I'm like, when I saw this on my feed, I'm like, oh, Luca, put this in the notes for the podcast.
Oceana says, abstaining from seafood is not a realistic choice. Seaspiracy directors respond.
Oh, I haven't read this. Like I said, I just saw the headline, so I'm super excited to hear.
In light of the Netflix hit Seaspiracy, Oceana has claimed abstaining from seafood is not a realistic choice. Last month, the Ocean Conservation Organisation released an official statement on the film, which is drastically changing people's perception of the fishing industry. We believe people have the right to choose what they eat. That's the problem right there. That's the problem. It's not a personal choice when it involves the life of someone else. Yeah. Personal choice is how you choose to style your hair. But again, as Colleen Patrick Gaudreau likes to say, your right to throw your fist ends at my nose.
Exactly. And you know what the other thing is? Sure, let's go with it's your personal choice. Why don't you inform consumers of the full picture so they can make an informed choice? Stop hiding facts, stop lying, stop manipulating, tell the truth. Oh, that's what Seaspiracy did. Oh, that's why the industry doesn't like it. Why? Because consumers will make a choice that perhaps is not in your favour of making you money.
Exactly. And we applaud those who make personal choices to improve the health of our planet. It's very.
What, going vegan then? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but I find that's the. I respect your choice to be vegan.
Yeah.
You should respect my choice not to be vegan.
Well,
it's that whole.
There's only one way to improve the health of the planet, and that's to stop destroying it by eating animals.
Exactly.
So therefore, you're not improving the health of the planet. You're contributing to the destruction of the planet.
And last time I checked, we don't each live on our individual planets. It's just the one planet that we all share.
That's right.
So people act as if their choices are in isolation of other people.
They think they're just masters of their own little universe.
Yeah.
Well, you don't live in a bubble. I wish you did.
I think that's how people feel like. So, for example,
you're in a bubble.
However, choosing to abstain from consuming seafood is not a realistic choice for the hundreds of millions of people around the world who depend on coastal fisheries, many of whom are also facing poverty, hunger, and malnutrition.
So much to break down.
Yeah, I mean, we're expert at taking the focus off the real victims, those having their heads chopped off, right? Losing the only life they have. And up till that point, experiencing pain, as you said, and suffering.
Yeah.
And we always make some human group out to be the victims, whether it be farmers, or in this case, fishermen, or people from fishing villages.
Yeah, exactly. The reality is the person writing this from Oceana is not one of these, people around the world living in these rural communities relying on local fishermen to go out in the canoes and hand catch a couple of fish or use a net. Now, I'm not saying that's okay, but the reality is that this criticism is coming from people that are living in well-developed cities, that are going to their supermarkets or restaurants and eating sea life and other animals that do come from industrial farming, be it in the ocean or on the land.
Exactly. Lucy added, I think we've got to be really careful not to sort of weaponize poor and vulnerable people who are depending on fish to justify our own eating habits.
Yeah.
Especially when we have the privilege to choose not to and to choose something else quite comfortably. I think the people that are watching this film on Netflix are going to these NGOs' websites looking for how to eat sustainably. They're not the people that are relying on this for sustenance, for survival.
Exactly. That's the thing. You got all these Westerners sitting comfortably at home watching Netflix going, oh, but what about the poor people in villages on the other side of the world that, they're fishing communities, and surely those crazy extremist vegans and people behind this film, they can't be telling these people not to eat seafood?
Yeah.
No, we're telling you not to eat seafood. Ideally, yes, we're telling everyone to stop eating animals, but the primary problem is the industrialization of this industry.
These organisations are not the victims. I think that's very important to say here. Fish and other marine animals are the victims. So just to get that very clear. In fact, by telling people that one of the best ways to help save the oceans is to eat sustainable fish, actually makes these organisations the oppressors.
Yeah.
That is the complete opposite of victims. These organisations are not being demonised. They are being held accountable for the oppression they are needlessly inflicting on innocent, vulnerable fish and other marine animals.
I think that is one of the most important notes you've made here. Being held accountable is not being demonised. I mean, if we apply don't demonise anyone, then you'd never say a word to anybody who did anything bad or wrong, certainly not towards animals. It's not demonizing to say, hey, this is the reality of what you're doing. These are the consequences. Can you stop? I mean, would we say we're demonizing the dog meat trade and those involved in slaughtering dogs and cats? No, we don't. I don't think we do. You just say, hey, that's wrong. Stop it.
Great analogy.
Or they're yelling out to help. They're yelling out to help. And Ralph's like, no, it's okay. I'm doing this for you. I was born for you. Like, it's just like, really, humans?
Well, I guess he's tackling the main excuse that human supremacists use, which is, well, they're just animals and they're here for us to do whatever we need to do with them.
Yeah. And I just thought the cries from his fellow bunnies, his mates, were really heartbreaking. They were very sad, but very crucial. Like they're begging, stop, save us. And then you see Ralph at the end of a quote unquote work day going back to his locker, and he's all banged up and bruised, and he's blind in one eye and one ear doesn't work because he's been tested on. And I think you just see the reality of what these animals go through. I hope it wakes people up. I mean, those views are really good.
Really good.
So,
and the celebrities bring attention to the film.
Of course. And I think this is also something that you can show kids as well.
Yeah.
This is a really great way, I think, of communicating the message to a younger audience. So what do our listeners think? Have you